so weird.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And he's ready for the adventure that will be the greatest challenge to all his powers.
Oh my God.
No one can do what he can do when Spider-Man strikes back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea, episode 238. Those still counting?
38.
And 238, Jason. It's been a fun ride.
I got a challenge for Steve Farage, a serious challenge. If we get to episode 500, he gets us a David Hasselhoff cameo to wishing us a happy 500. And I put it at 500 because I did price this out. It cost $500, so it is pricey. But if it's $1 for every show that we've done, Ed, I think that's a fair ask.
I think so. I think that is a fair ask. I mean, what is he on? I'm sure he's on Cameo or something like that.
No, he is. He's absolutely on Cameo. I already researched it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think that's a fair ask that we can just simply get a little Hasselhoff thing, and he can congratulate us, right, and say, "Listen, happy 500, you guys. I know you guys may have hassled the Hoff and everything, but it's okay." Just like kind of like let us know we're good and stuff.
I mean, look, I think I watched at least half a season of Baywatch Nights. The second season, at least half that second season. That's like 3 years punishment right there.
Yeah, that was cruel and unusual. And I mean, you stuck to your guns, and I definitely respect that.
And I kind of even say I think I walked away liking that first season a bit.
You actually did, and then you hated the second season
because it was so different and it was so not fun, and they were hassling the Hoff at that point, not me.
Yeah, I agree. I can see that. But listen, thank you for joining us. As always, if you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, or if you're joining us on YouTube, or wherever you found your audio and podcast, we always appreciate the support. We've got a couple of different things to get into here. Honestly, we got a couple of things before we touch our episodes of My Adventures with Superman, season 3, X-Men 97 season 2, and our movie, which we shared part of the trailer for, because I figured we were in such a trailery mood that we might as well show the part of the trailer for the epic second movie in the Spider-Man live-action 70s saga, Spider-Man Strikes Back.
Or some of us call it the original trilogy.
Yes, actually, there's a case to be made. We found out it was the original Strikes Back. Now, I don't know if anyone struck back before Spider-Man. We can look into that. But
I don't know.
Spider-Man struck back before the Empire did, is what we learned.
We did learn
it was
that.
Earth-shattering news.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. All right, so we figured quickly, let's jump into it, because it is San Diego Comic-Con, but the Marvel panel was last night. There was some big nuggets that came out of there that I thought would be interesting to share. And Jason, I know we're trying to share it on the group text there as well. But number one, there was a new Avengers Doomsday trailer, and they had their panel, and that was their big thing. And they also, the whole cast was there and everything. And Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds showed up as Deadpool in character. Okay, with the gray suit. And he asked questions to them saying, hey, is there any Rue, like this is a pretty expensive way to announce you're shooting a movie. When are you guys starting this thing? Like what's going on here? And he's also like, I have a question. Why was Thor crying? Can anyone please answer this question? And he asked it to Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd, of course, is like, well, I think he's a Wrexham fan, which is is the soccer club that Ryan Reynolds owns in real life, and he threw it back to him and stuff. But essentially, though, they did confirm that Peggy, we all knew Peggy Carter. We knew Hallie Atwell was in Avengers Doomsday. But if I'm understanding correctly, they're kind of confirming that Deadpool is in Avengers Doomsday on some level.
I mean, I doubt Ryan Reynolds just got himself a Deadpool costume and showed up to troll them. I mean, that had to be that had to be Marvel planned.
Yeah, no, of course. But I mean, I also wouldn't put it. If there's anyone I wouldn't put it past, it'd be Ryan Reynolds to actually do that.
I mean, my personal theory is that the Ryan Reynolds we knew was murdered decades ago by Deadpool, who escaped the MCU or escaped Marvel after he killed the Marvel Universe, and now he resettled here as Ryan Reynolds, and that's why he pushes for Deadpool so hard.
I can see that. I think I like that theory. I really do like that theory. That's a good one there. So I guess quickly regarding that part, and they did some cool shit with Avengers Doomsday, and they showed a new trailer which was not dropped online. It is not the one we're going to go over shortly. But that they did drop their first trailer earlier this week, and now they have the San Diego Comic-Con one. So I'm imagining we'll be getting that one sometime soon. I mean, it is very different when I read in the description and stuff like that. Even though once I started seeing in the description, I read a little bit. I'm like, no. I want this for myself at some point. Thoughts on? I mean, I guess we're cool with Deadpool being. I mean, everyone and their mothers in Avengers Doomsday and rumored to be and whatnot. Any theory? Do you think he's actually in the movie proper, or do you think maybe a post-credit scene?
That's a good question. I don't know whether it's a post-credit scene or the movie proper. I don't think it's a big part. I think it's more of a cameo.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think it's going to be too crazy. I also expect this movie to have the tone of like Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War has its light moments, plenty of them here and there, but it's definitely a kind of like, especially the way it ends. Obviously, there's a dark and somber tone to it, and I kind of imagine that's kind of what they're going to do with Doomsday. Like, I don't expect the Avengers to win in this movie again.
The precedent's been set. They might not, and this is what's leading us up to Secret Wars. And as we know, I mean, in a lot of iterations, Doom is the reason Secret Wars happens. So exactly. This very likely will end with the Avengers losing and setting directly up the next movie. Yeah,
which those are. Did you read the unofficial third Secret Wars? It's just called Secret Wars. Where, okay, no. Well, let's work that out, because I think you should. I might actually go back and reread it because I have it on digital.
Okay.
It is with God Doom and stuff, and that's where the multiverse, and he builds Battle World and everything else, and like at the end of it, there's basically a reshaping of the universe, and that's kind of what we're expecting to happen in this one. The belief is that this is going to focus more on that version of Secret Wars versus the original one with the leisure suit, and
I mean, look, I think Rick should be, aka the Beyonder, should be in this movie 100%.
He is.
But I will say this though, I've never read that run, but I did the old Spider-Man 90s Spider-Man cartoon that we talked about.
Yes.
It did a version of that particular Secret War. So I'm not 100% familiar with what goes on in the comic, but I am familiar with that version of the story.
Yeah, well, I'm going to see if I'll get you a little login, and you can kind of jump into my account and stuff. And like,
oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to take a look at it.
Yeah, that'd be, and whatever else is in there. There's a bunch of shit I'm sure you would be pretty into. If you like reading the digital version. Some people are turned off by that, and they're like, no, I need to have the physical book. I'm like, I have the physical iPad. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And the other big things that came out of this was we're getting Ghost Rider, like actually Ghost Rider, and Ryan Gosling, who's been rumored to be Ghost Rider for years now, is actually going to be in it.
It's been rumored that he's been scraping at the door to play Ghost Rider. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, and then I would be shocked if that wasn't worked in somehow, as like a nice tongue-in-cheek thing in here. And it's also being. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's being directed by Sean Levy, who did Free Guy and was the director of Deadpool and Wolverine. So this isn't his first rodeo in the MCU,
Right.
And he's also doing Star Wars Starfighter, which is the next live-action Star Wars movie with Ryan Gosling for, ultimately for Disney, that's coming out next year. So I'm imagining they're pretty pleased with what they're getting over there in Star Wars to have these two link up. And apparently Ryan Gosling pitched the Ghost Rider idea to Kevin Feige, and he loved it. And that's how much
awesome.
like he really wanted to keep going with this. I do love it when the actors are that passionate about the project, and because you kind of feel like you're definitely going to get the heart and soul. And I feel extra confident when we get that, because you really feel like they're not going to fuck around.
No, agreed. It means they care about it. I mean, that's why Ryan Reynolds, all kidding aside, is such a great Deadpool, because he cares about the character. That's why Barenthal is such a great Punisher, because he cares about the character. When the actors take ownership of the character and put their stamp on it, it's always better.
Yeah, and like Tom Holland with Spider-Man, and like Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man, like they really feel like ownership of it. And a lot of the MCU actors, a lot of the big ones seemed to have they've really felt like they owned that character. It was also news that came out too that they were trying to work Steve Rogers back into the MCU for a little bit now, and there was just not the right feeling quite just yet, and that's why they ultimately decided on Avengers Doomsday. But on top of that, though, and I felt like this nugget of news was kind of buried, was, we talked about there's going to be an Avengers Endgame is going to be re-released in September. It's being called Avengers Endgame Encore, whatever. Like there's going to be some new footage that's supposed to, because Avengers Doomsday is supposed to be basically a direct sequel to Endgame, but obviously not ignoring the past two phases of the MCU. Like they're going to integrate all of that, and I think it's a pretty smart way to approach it. But apparently some of the new footage is going to be what fans have been screaming for years, is we're supposed to see Cap returning the stones.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which may go ahead and directly set up Doomsday, because I think we're both shared. We're of the belief that what happened, the Avengers stopping Thanos and saving the universe and all of that, but fucking with time and everything kind of is what causes what happens now.
Right. Yeah, and probably what caused all of the multiverse stuff, right? I mean, we discussed that on when we did Loki.
Yeah. So that makes a lot. We actually got an interesting question here from YouTube. Mystic Vortex P9B. Dude, thank you for checking us out here on this Sunday afternoon here. He asks, why would Heroes of Earth 616 trust Earth 828 Fantastic Four when every Earth is fighting for its existence? And that's a really good question here.
That's a great question.
It is a phenomenal question. Thank you for dropping that in here, and it's perfect for what we're getting into. Is my belief is there has to be a reason why they cast Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom, and we've talked about that for a while. Not just because like, oh yes, you want him back, and I think it's way more than nostalgia bait, which some people who have tuned out of the MCU for the last couple of years seem to kind of throw that at it. But I have a feeling he wouldn't return for that, and they wouldn't bring him back for that if there wasn't something cool. Now, the belief is the ship that we saw, the Fantastic Four ship at the end of Thunderbolts, is obviously carrying the Fantastic Four, but also Victor Von Doom, who when the story starts, I'm not so sure he's necessarily going to be viewed as the villain right off the bat. And him looking like Tony Stark can kind of like get the guard down of the heroes of 616 here when they see him. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking, something along those lines. And also the belief is that Steve Rogers has not been, there hasn't been two Steve Rogers living in the 616, that Steve Rogers and Peggy have been living in, you know, Earth 828, which is the Fantastic Four one. And that kind of would clear a lot of questions that a lot of people had that we never really fully got answered at the end of Endgame, and that's why he's coming to fight alongside him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I definitely think Doom is going to start off looking like a good guy. I think he kind of has to. That's like if you're setting up Secret Wars, that is what that is the one thing people, that is the thing on your goddamn shirt, Ed. Dr. Doom turning from being I'm good, I'm going to help you guys to like stealing immense amount of power for himself. I mean, so yes. Of course he's got to have the heel turn. And I agree. I think it's the reason is going to be because it's the Tony Stark thing in 616. They're going to trust him on face alone, and I think they'll eventually work with the Fantastic Four because they'll get to know them and see them as they are good guys. They're not like him, and they know him, so they can help us take him down. I think it's going to be something like that.
Agreed. Also, another good question here. I don't even get why Steve Rogers would trust Loki, whom he fought to protect the planet. Well, I also do think that the Loki that we're getting, you know, who at the end of, you know, through the Loki series is not the exact. He's not the same one. He's kind of obviously went through a lot, and he's basically holding together the multiverse and everything.
God of the multiverse, right? Like he's the storyteller.
Yes. Yeah, so that's what I'm guessing. It's just that Loki has gone through, and I'm sure when they first meet, there will be, you know, a lot of stuff, turbulence to start off with, and it'll kind of smooth out, you know, over time. Once he sees this is not the same Loki that, you know, they fought against him, of course, in the first Avengers, but then this guy now has kind of went through a whole bit of a different thing.
He became a bitch. No,
he became a bitch. That's it. We don't trust him. No, I mean, I'm guessing. That's
but I think you're right, though. I think it's going to be made clear it's a very different incarnation of Loki because if you remember back to where we end in the Loki show, and I actually loved that show, so I do remember it. You know, he is very different. Like he makes the sacrifice. That's the whole point of his character arc on that show, is he goes from being the impetuous shit who only thinks of himself to making the big sacrifice to save all of these different disparate worlds. And I think that's the Loki Steve Rogers is going to meet. And yeah, I think you're right. There's going to be like I don't trust you. And he's going to, you know, there's going to be that moment. But I think he'll get over pretty quickly. Something will happen.
And I guess last thing before we jump into the trailer, if the plot leak is true that the script of Avengers Doomsday is super underwhelming. In all honesty, I have not read it. Jason and I typically avoid any kind of leaks and stuff the best we can, unless it's like officially put out there, because I feel like you can go down a path that is, who the hell knows? Like, you can drive yourself a bit mad.
I don't even watch trailers unless I do it for the show.
Exactly. So with all respect, like, if you read the plot, listen, if you're saying it's underwhelming, you know, we'll take your word for it, but we have not read it. So we kind of like to stay clear of that and just stick with like whatever is officially official, stamp approved, because there's a bunch of stuff that gets thrown out there that, you know. But thanks for dropping in there, man. I hope you're enjoying the show, and feel free to stick along with the ride with us. All right, so the other piece before we jump to the Doomsday trailer is that Black Panther 3 is official, like officially official. We all knew it. Denzel talked about it. You know, it's supposed to be coming out in 2028 and everything. So there is that. We also have, like, T'Challa's son has been cast, like an older version of it. So we're going to assume, like, you know, the Black Panther mantle is going to be passed on now from Shuri, you know, to T'Challa's son. which is pretty cool. Like I think that is a way. I mean, a lot of fans have been speculating how long, that he's gonna, how long she was gonna hold the mantle for. I mean, I had no issue with her holding the mantle, but you introduced T'Challa's son at the end of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever for a reason. It wasn't just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, right. And again, I don't think the character of Shuri was ready to take the mantle. I don't think, but I mean, there was no choice, right? Like, Chadwick Boseman died. They had to, like, I know that people are very critical of that movie, and I understand why some people don't like that movie, but I'm also of the opinion, like, you gotta give them a little break on that one, because they were throwing a curveball. So, like, I get why people didn't like her as the Black Panther, because in my opinion, as a character, she hadn't evolved to a point where it made sense that she would do that. So I'm completely okay with, I was okay with her being it because they needed to figure something out. I'm completely okay with it going now to T'Challa's son and them trying to find a vibe that fits more the original Black Panther, just because we got so little time with Chadwick Boseman and we got so little time with T'Challa that, this won't be T'Challa, but I want something that feels similar enough. You know what I mean? Because I didn't get my fill of that character.
Yeah, unfortunately, his time was cut short. Even in Infinity War, like, he's in it for a bit, but he also gets dusted. So he's not really in Endgame a lot until the final battle and everything. So you're right. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
But and the first time we see him in Civil War, he gives, in my book, and look, that is a movie full of great performances. He gives the best performance in that movie. His character arc of, like, wanting to avenge his father and seeing what that vengeance does to people and making that choice, like, man, that was the scene, and that's what he starts with, and that's why I'm like, I miss you. I miss you, Boseman, man.
Yeah, he was awesome. I liked him in a lot of things there. And David Johnson is the one who's playing T'Challa's son in that, who we saw in Sinners. So he's a Ryan Coogler guy and stuff. He was also in the Walk.
Who was he in Sinners? Was he Preacher?
Yes, actually he was.
Okay. Oh, I like that guy a lot. And he was. I didn't realize that was the same guy from The Long Walk. I also like that movie a lot, and I liked him in it. So
actually, I'm sorry. No, sorry. My scratch that. Sorry. Not in Sinners. He actually was in. David Johnson was. Let me just double check this quick. I'm sorry. I misspoke there.
No, it's okay.
Not Sinners. He was in Alien Romulus and The Long Walk. My bad.
Okay, that makes sense.
He was the synth in Alien Romulus, which we covered a few months ago.
We did. Okay, I liked him in that. I actually really liked him in The Long Walk, though. So I'm still, even though it's not the guy from Sinners who I really liked.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm excited to see him take on the mantle. I think he was really good.
Yeah, and also here, great decision to make T'Challa Jr. the new Black Panther, that an alternate universe T'Challa, because it's a different universe T'Challa. Absolutely agree, 100%. What you can't do is, like, the thing is, you're treating the casuals, the general public, with the idea of, like, they can handle the multiverse. As I think that was a question for a while. Now, people did in the Spider-Verse movies, and I feel like that's what kind of, like, now all, Marvel and DC and everyone else kind of jumped in there. You can't use it as a cheat code every time someone dies.
Right.
Like, every character dies. Oh, no problem. It's okay. Stakes don't exist then. Just go get another one. That's all. Just go get a new one. Tony Stark, let's go get a new Tony Stark. No problem. No big deal. It's okay. Yeah, that would be kind of weak. So you got to keep the stakes on some level. Even though in the comics we all know, unless you're Uncle Ben or the Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne usually stay dead. But they also came back in multiverse versions also.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
So, there is that. That was kind of like the big Marvel news that came out last night. So that was pretty cool. No, like, actual new footage or anything like that. But I mean, that was released online. But hopefully we'll get that Avengers Doomsday second trailer soon enough. All right. So speaking of Avengers Doomsday, I kind of figure I wasn't sure where we were going to start, but let's start with Avengers Doomsday since we've talked enough about it. So let me add that to the screen. And Jason, this is exciting because I love the fact that this is legitimately your reaction to this. So let's get to it.
Something's coming. Something we may not be able to deter. Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision. I've fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger than all of us put together, and they died. They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one. Everything that they sacrificed will be for nothing if we do not stand together. Put aside your petty squabbles. Presume nothing except this. If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters. But mark my words. We're going to need a miracle. Hey, pal. It's not possible.
I mean, look, when you put Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen in a movie together, crying and holding each other, you got me. I'm in the seat. You got me already. And they're Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot to unpack in this trailer here, and it is a first trailer, so I think there's a lot of people. Some people are like, I'm underwhelmed. I think it's a pretty awesome first trailer. I didn't need any more excitement for Avengers Doomsday because it's fucking Avengers Doomsday.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of awesome stuff in there. One of my favorite, I mean, obviously we get to see Doom. We actually get to see Dr. Doom. We get to hear the Dr. Doom accent because that's him speaking in the beginning of it here. Actually, I'll let you start off with this. You're seeing the MCU Dr. Doom for the first time. He's one of your favorite all-time characters. What is your first impression of Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom?
I mean, look, I think he sounds great, and I make no secret that I love Robert Downey Jr. I mean, I think I've said this a couple times. Like, the MCU didn't make me love Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. made me trust the MCU at a time where, at the time, superhero movies were fucking trash, and we've covered a lot of those. So Robert Downey Jr. for me, he can do no wrong. I think what I saw looks good. He sounds good. I still really, really, really need to buy into why he looks like Tony Stark. It needs, and I'm sure it will be, but because I have said that's my trepidation, right? Like, you got to give me a reason you put him in there outside of cash grab, and I'm sure there is. You know me, I get hurt very easily. But I think I think he looks great as Doom. I think he sounds great as Doom. I think the setup for the movie looks great. I love that part of, and this actually already kind of sews in some things about what I'm saying that actually fixes it. Like that whole monologue by Thor is, We still have PTSD Thor. We still have fucked up Thor. We still have Thor who thinks everyone dies around him because he watched all his friends die. And, you know, I think, yeah, then that's a reason to have, you know, these two people come back, because this is now Earth's mightiest hero left on his own, giving up. And you kind of need that pull. So I think that's interesting. I like that we've seen characters that I haven't seen in a while. I like that we're getting more Shang-Chi. I like that we're getting more Submariner. Fucking M'Baku, man. That's my boy. I love that guy. I saw him. I was like, oh, yeah. He's jumping into battle.
Yeah, me too. Also, dude, we got Shang-Chi fighting fucking Gambit.
Yes. And I think that's really interesting. And I wonder, like, are they kind of doing some riffing? I mean, I know that it's not direct, but are they riffing kind of on X-Men versus Avengers?
I think. Well, remember, we were getting speculation that we were going to get some sort of bait and switch at the last minute. They were going to call this Avengers versus X-Men, which doesn't seem like that's happening. I think they're fully committed. I can say that was not a great proclamation there, but they're fully committed to the Doomsday. Like, they're the way that they had the panel last night, they are pushing Dr. Doom. Like, they're in full Dr. Doom. We're getting behind this. We're gonna fucking let you know why you should fear him. Why is he worse than Thanos? Like, that's what I think this trailer is supposed to start setting up, to let you know, because we haven't seen Dr. Doom sitting in a chair and peppered around, which, again, when you really think about it, there wasn't a crazy amount of build-up for Thanos. There was some, but it wasn't an insane amount. I think people kind of look back and think it was more than what it actually was.
Yes, and I'm going to say this. I think it was because we didn't expect it, and it was exciting. Because I am the biggest Thanos stan, as you know. I cannot wait to cover the Infinity War. I may reread I have 2 copies of the Infinity Gauntlet series. My original copies that I bought when they were first run on the stand.
I have mine.
And then I bought a trade paperback because I just like to reread it sometimes. So when we do this, I probably will go back and read that particularly. But I'll never forget seeing Avengers in the theater, getting to the end, and Thanos. And look, you know, they thought Thanos at some point. They had no real plan in that movie what Thanos was doing. And that's fine. They didn't need it. I don't need them to have 6 movies out. But we got him then, when he just goes like, "Hey, you got to court death if you want to get them." So we have him then at the end of Avengers.
Yeah, whenever you saw that, fans, we lost our minds immediately.
Absolutely. And then what? They tease some. I don't think you see Thanos again until Guardians, but they tease
Guardians
here and there the stones.
Yeah, and Avengers Age of Ultron is I'll do it myself. Like, there was not a lot to go on.
We're talking maybe 3 post-credit scenes.
Yeah, it wasn't that much. And honestly, you don't need this whole ramp up if you have a good story to tell. And I think, again, through the marketing, I think only because San Diego Comic-Con was now, I probably would imagine they would have hoped that they could have, if San Diego Comic-Con was in 2 weeks, you could have let Spider-Man Brand New Day, because that movie's gotten a lot of hype too. But now it feels like immediately like we're all like, because it's so fresh now, and we've gotten our first taste of Doomsday. We're all at the current moment like all about Doomsday. Like, everyone's going berserk and picking apart the trailers, and theories are running wild and everything like that. And we have a brand new movie that a lot of people are excited about next week, especially based on the ticket sales that you've seen in advance for both of them. So, you know, box office wise, I mean, the MCU is going to be really back box office wise, like with these next 2. But yeah, as far as Doom goes, yeah, you don't need the ton of it. We saw a brief glimpse of him at the end of Fantastic Four First Steps, which we always thought would probably be how they were going to start the ball rolling. This trailer establishes, because fucking Thor goes for the head in the trailer with Stormbreaker, and 2 fingers stops him, which is probably his speech is probably after that interaction where he's like, now I can tell you right now why I'm fucking scared of this guy.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, and I want to see where Doom gets his power, because I mean Doom is powerful, but Doom isn't like celestial powerful on his own. His thing is about the power grab, right? Like he
Yes.
knows magic and he does stuff like that, but like his thing is. So I'm wondering, are we gonna see Infinity Stones? Does he have one? Like I'm curious where his powers are gonna come from.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Infinity Stones. My guess, he's probably hijacked some celestial being or something like that at that point, like before that battle, or something like that. I think they're gonna kind of. My guess is the last we're gonna see of the Infinity Stones is in the Avengers Endgame Encore. We're gonna see everyone. I've always wanted to see it. We've all always wanted to see some of the things that happen when Cap puts them back, especially on Vormir, where he has to see the Red Skull again.
And I wonder
that's the one I need.
Really give us what we want, where it's just this awkward, like, you're the Guardian. Oh, you're the Returner. Well, yes. the stone goes over there. Thank you.
Yeah.
How did being Captain America work out for you? I got my own life. How did being the evil Nazi work out for you? It's a living. That's it. That's what I want. That's the scene.
One of my favorite things has always been, and my God, would it be? I would love it if they do this, and it would be obviously lighthearted. As we know how we saw when he announces Natasha, son of blah blah blah. This and that.
Yeah.
It's like Steve, son of a bitch. Where the fuck are you at?
Steve, I come all the way out here Vormir to get away from you. Why? Of all the hell planets and all the universe and all the world, you had to walk onto mine.
Oh, that would be great. But yeah, I there's a lot of. But I think also speaking of Steve Rogers, because again, we get Mystique, and then we get Yelena fighting, which is pretty sick as well. We get fucking Cyclops in the '90s outfit with the optic blast. We finally get James Marsden in proper, X-Men attire. Like they're going all in with this thing. We see the Fantastic Four in Wakanda and everything like that's all well and good. But the two things that really caught my attention too, actually the main thing was Doom stopping fucking Stormbreaker with two fingers.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was
the
awesome. The Steve Rogers at the end, who is clearly worthy. And that was people saying he's the two-factor authentication that Thor goes with there to try to make sure that's really him. Do you think that's actually our Steve Rogers?
It might not be. I don't think it
that's
necessarily is our Steve Rogers who went and had his life with Peggy. I think that guy still went and had his life with Peggy. I think this is another Steve Rogers from another universe who was Captain America and did very good things and still is worthy of holding the shield. And maybe that is getting into the question we had before about why would these worlds who are supposedly have to fight for their own survival, why would they trust each other? Well, maybe this is part of it, right? This Steve Rogers is just like our Steve Rogers, but he's from a different universe. That Tony Stark is nothing like Tony Stark, and he's from a different universe. But if this Steve Rogers can be the same, then we can work together. I mean, maybe it's going to be something like that.
Yeah, there's theories out there. People are thinking he's like Hydra Cap and all this other stuff, and he's just flat out evil.
No, I don't think that. I
don't know about that. He also could be Steve Rogers that is working with Doom. Because remember, I think we seem to agree that we think Doom probably is again trying to do the right thing in the first part of it. And obviously, he turns villain somewhere as the film goes on, and by the end of it, obviously, he's the big bad that we're all anticipating now. I don't know. I'm still struggling with that one, to be honest. I'm going to say that I think that is the Steve Rogers that has lived his life with Peggy and stuff like that. But the question is kind of like, why does he have we've seen him go with full beard and stuff, and he kind of has a weird smirk that some are really holding. That's where the theory is kind of like, would our Steve Rogers kind of even react like that? It's interesting. And you see Thor, the way he speaks to him is also distrusting in that moment. We don't know the context of that moment. So he may have seen other variants that have been evil that of people
Right.
he trusted. He may have seen Doom at that point and thought it was
Right.
Tony.
Absolutely, but it's the fact that he can hold the hammer.
Yeah,
That's what
the
makes
thing.
it doesn't matter if it's his Tony or not. If he can hold the hammer, he's worthy. If he's worthy, he is like enough like our Tony to be trustworthy.
Yeah. And also that scene where we see the Fantastic Four and Thor speaking to them and stuff, and like Wakandans and everyone seems to be there. There is some awkward spaces that are in that group, which is what people think that they scrubbed Dr. Doom and they scrubbed Steve Rogers out of that scene.
Okay.
Because we've seen how Marvel loves to play with trailers and whatnot and erase things and stuff. I think that one seems to be sticking out like a sore thumb to me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to rewatch it. I didn't catch it because I was. The first time I saw it, I was just enjoying it. But I mean, look, we know what these fuckers are up to. All right, the Hulk never appears in Infinity War. Fuck you, Kevin Feige. All right, you know who was in Spider-Man: No Way Home? The fucking villains you scrubbed out, you motherfucker. Ow.
Exactly, and the other Spider-Man were in that scene.
Yes, they were, but I have to stop. I have to stop smiting our God Kevin Feige because he just smote me and made me hit myself. So sorry, sir.
All right, so whatever. We also got our tickets for Doomsday. We got preview day, and I got Friday morning. So we're all is well.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
All right, let's jump into the other trailers then, because again, we don't want to start challenging the runtime of the original Granny Speech here. Because we do got some other stuff to jump into, but
well, you don't want to go 3 hours?
I mean, listen, we got to do. Listen, I can do this all day. All right, here's a new trailer that we got from San Diego Comic-Con as well for the upcoming Resident Evil reboot.
Hey, man, I gotta be 7. Do you know where I can take this? Excuse me, oh my God. Anybody order a kidney or liver, whatever this is? Anybody? It seems like it's kind of important.
Hey, you got time for another run?
No, I'm wrapped up for the.
It's outside the zone, so it pays double.
I could do that. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. The signal sucks here. Can you hear me?
I'm gonna stay with Katie for a bit, I think.
Michelle, please do not go stay with freaking Katie.
It also hurts my feelings that you don't even care enough to come home and have this conversation.
Seriously, I'm working. This could be some 8-year-old boy's heart or someone's mom's brain. Hello? Hello? There's an emergency here. I was wondering if I could use your phone.
Hi, you've reached Michelle. Leave a message.
Hey, baby, I'm really sorry that we got disconnected earlier. Some things have happened, and I can't get a hold of police. Bullets. Could you just call me back on this number, please? I love you.
Everything that has happened in this town transpired in a matter of hours. You've got no idea what you've got there in your hands.
Yeah, where was it going again?
Raccoon City General.
Hey, no sweat.
So, you played Resident Evil also, right?
I did, yes. I played the first one, when it first came out, and then I played a bit of the second one. Then I kind of was off it until 4, and 4 is Resident Evil 4, one of the greatest games of all time. I have a friend at work, I have a buddy at work who's so obsessed with it that he's platinumed it and he still wants to play it, so he gives himself new run challenges. Like, you can only run with the crossbow or whatever. Fantastic. I mean, it's a great game. It's a great series of games. Having said that, I think this looks like a really good movie. It doesn't strike me as feeling very Resident Evil.
So I partially see. All right, so I think this trailer makes me feel a little bit more Resident Evil-y than the original. Like, and I think it's an interesting take by, they mentioned the director of Weapons and Barbarian, because I also think for fans of the franchise, because I played until, I think it was the shoot 'em up one was the last Resident Evil that I played.
Okay. Oh, so you actually, this is one of the few ones that you played.
Yeah, I love Resident Evil 2 also. That's one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah, phenomenal
Raccoon
game.
City, baby.
Yeah, I'm that's probably my favorite one. I think it's an interesting thing. The way I've been trying to look at this is through the film lens of Resident Evil. Like, remember we got I mean, we'll cover them at some point soon, but like those movies, the general public sees Resident Evil as that, not what the video game players see it as. And it's two totally different things.
Yeah, the thing is, that Resident Evil, I like that first one.
First one was fine.
It was fine. I like Mila Jovovich enough where I saw a couple of those movies. But you're right, they're nothing like that first one at least attempts to be like that first game.
Kind of, yeah.
But after that, it goes completely off the fucking rails. So that is not, like, people who think that's the Resident Evil franchise, it's the movie franchise, but it's not the game franchise.
Yeah, and that's why, and they also did try Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which actually Rick and I saw in the theater about a year or two ago. He literally came up, and right after I picked him up from the airport, we got home for like 10 minutes, and I was like, dude, Resident Evil's starting. You want to go to the movies?
Wow.
And we just went and saw it, because Rick's also a huge Resident Evil fan. He, zombie movies and stuff is right up his alley. So we saw that, and that one really went to try to be the game. That's the movie that's really did its best. But I think if you're going to reboot it again, and that movie wasn't that long ago, it was okay. It wasn't like great. You appreciate a lot of the things it tried from a fan of the video game franchise. You I liked what they were going for, because it was a drastic departure from the film franchise, what it turned into. This year, I think you have to go in with a different take, and this seems to be a very super horror movie element to it. And I think, from what I've understood, there's been a lot of just look at some of the Easter eggs and details, like him looking for the shotgun shells, getting that. That made me feel Resident Evil a bit. So I think they're probably holding back a lot of it, but I also think you're going with a different spin, and now we get Raccoon City name dropped at the end of it. So I think that I have a feeling when we see the movie, it's going to be more Resident Evil than we think.
Yeah, I want to be clear, I wasn't saying that as a detractor.
It's a fair assessment, though. I don't disagree with you. Yeah,
I would 100% rather a good Resident Evil movie that is just a good movie and takes liberties with the franchise than some of the shit we got in the actual franchise. So, I mean, I think this looks like a fun zombie movie. Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, I think my thing was like, oh, okay, so it's not a cop or whatever, but all right, I don't, that shouldn't bother me. It doesn't. I do kind of like the idea of a guy who goes in there on a medical run and kind of just gets fucking trapped and has no idea what's going on. I think that that doesn't necessarily feel Resident Evil to me. That seems like an awesome setup for a movie. So I'm going to be honest. I don't even care if it's if it doesn't feel Resident Evil. If it's a good movie and he does a good job. And to be honest, this director is really good at the misdirect. Like if you've seen Barbarian, those are two different movies that somehow work together, and Weapons is way funnier than it has any right. So I trust this director, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we both liked Weapons a lot.
Oh, Weapons is great.
Yeah, I actually have not seen Barbarian, but I do want to watch it before this comes out.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm so glad I didn't spoil
No,
it.
I know it's it was something that seems like I definitely should have seen. I plan on seeing it before Resident Evil comes out because I do want to. I like this director. I liked what he did with Weapons. So
I think you'll like Barbarian. It's unconventional.
Yeah, Rick's told me the same thing repeatedly, and over the years he's gotten better with his recommendations. At one point, it used to be like, "Oh, Rick recommended it." I don't know about that. We might have to take it for with a grain of salt. But no, we've gotten more on the level here, especially with horror movies. So.
Okay, all right.
So, so excited for that as well. So let's stay in the horror movie genre because, man, it's actually pretty interesting how this is transitioning. Because we did get a new trailer for Clayface, which is a DC horror movie that is coming out in September.
I'm quite excited for this one.
Yeah, and you got it. Let's check it out because I think you're gonna dig this. I like this trailer even more than the first one. So.
Show me. Show me. Do you realize? What do you want, Mr. Higgin?
I want my life back.
I know you. You're famous.
The most beautiful face.
It's a tragedy what they did to him.
Boo.
I'd like to volunteer for human trials.
This isn't cosmetic surgery.
Even if it kills me, I'll be better off than I am now.
Matt. What?
I'm okay.
You okay?
I'm okay. I feel great, actually.
I have no idea what side effects you'll have or how to treat them.
Sir, the seatbelt sign is on.
We're in unknown territory.
What's happening to me?
If you're harboring feelings of anger, you need to let them go.
You want to know how I feel? The people I trusted betrayed me. The justice system failed me. They stole my career, my money, my life. I'm a monster.
I have no idea who you are.
I mean, that looks great.
Yeah, that's
that looks great.
I'm and it comes out right before Halloween too, which I think is pretty smart to kind of drop it around there.
I mean,
it looks like a lot of body horror.
Looks like a lot of body horror. It looks like very interesting psychological stuff going on. It looked like, here's the thing, you can take these Batman characters and do like villains, a lot of them, and do really cool stuff with them like this in ways you can't do with other superhero villains because they are so psychological. And like, I know there's always the talk.
Sony? No,
stop. Don't invoke it, all right?
Are you saying that you can't just take a popular superhero rogues gallery and just start making random solo movies
No.
off of it and expect it to
No,
work?
you fucking can't. No, you can't. But the thing about this movie is I'm watching this trailer and it never, I know the chatter is, are we going to see a Batman? I don't care. That's not what I'm not going to this movie going like, I hope I see Batman. I'm going like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And that's what these movies should be.
Yeah, I think if you're going to go that route, like we talked about, like with Penguin, was even though that we know that Oz met Batman before and interacted with him before, we felt the way they teased Batman at the end was the perfect way to do it. We didn't need him to interrupt. This is the Penguin story, and this is Clayface's story, and I'm sure he will interact with Batman at some point down the line.
At some point.
We don't really need it. Now, if you want to do a post-credit and tease the existence of Batman, because we still don't have a DCU Batman, that's fine. But we don't have to have him. Yeah. Let the story focus on him.
And that's what I say. I just want this to be the Clayface story. Tease Batman in a post-credit, fine. But, don't try to world build. That's where the DCEU failed. It tried to world build before it put world building before movie making.
Yes.
And level a lot of criticism against the MCU and how it operates now with its world building. And you can have the discussion of, do they world build at the expense of movies? And I think case by case basis could be made. Yes. In the beginning, they were focusing movie by movie by movie. And that's what DC, again, is at a reset. It's in the beginning. So far, it has given us movie by movie. They dabbled a little, like, okay, hey, here's Lobo. Hey, here's, Kal-El and Kara Zor-El. They are in the same universe. Great, that works. Don't force it, though. This is a Clayface movie. Just give us some cool Clayface shit. Give him a reason to be a villain at the end. Bring him back later for Batman. That's my hope.
Agreed. And the way they did with Superman and Supergirl was, I think it was fine. We didn't have the setup for Supergirl was not at the expense of the story of Superman.
Agreed.
It was at the end, and that was fine, and you can do that. It didn't jeopardize anything. And it did lead you right into Supergirl. And that was it. So I think they've done it fine. The way they've started their world is fine. The only knock some people have had is they feel like James Gunn is very attached to these kind of like C-list and random characters. And it's like, if you're going to start your DC universe, maybe you should go with the big guns. But I think Superman is the biggest. I agree. I think you don't want to let them linger too long, but I don't think they are. I mean, you started off with Superman. Creature Commandos is what it is, and we enjoy it, but it wasn't like crippling anything.
Creature Commandos was testing the water for Gunn. And look, it was a cartoon show and Peacemaker, which he was already doing. These were his passion projects, right? And Peacemaker, he was already doing it, so it doesn't kind of count in this. Then he brings Superman, that's the big gun. And then he gives us Supergirl, and that's she's a B-lister. It's a big gun. She's like a top B-lister, I would say. Because the A-list is the Holy Trinity.
Yes. All right. Fair enough. Yes, she would be the top. Yeah.
But like, let's not forget and again, love the Snyderverse, hate it, whatever. Let's not forget the biggest problem of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and I won't make the joke because that is the point this time, is that they attempted to say, okay, well, Superman's not enough. We're gonna give you Batman. We're gonna give you a Wonder Woman. We're gonna tease the Flash. We're gonna tease Aquaman. It's like, no, I think that's too much. This is the way to do it. If you want to think about the new DC universe in phases, phase 1 is your Superman phase. Phase 2 is your Batman phase. Phase 3 is your Wonder Woman phase. Because guess what? If you put them all together, it's overload. People stop caring, and you got nothing left after that. So let this guy play around with his fucking C-listers like Clayface. Because if they're good, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will be interesting. I think it's cool, and it's a lower budget horror movie. I mean, we're getting a DC horror movie, which I think is a pretty cool thing. And we always like it when these shared universes give us something different. This is pretty different from anything DC has given us, so far.
Agreed.
All right, so speaking of something else, because we do have our last trailer, which is a DC trailer, and it's one that we're getting before Clayface in this universe that, the DCU here. They dropped a new trailer for Lanterns, which will be on HBO Max and starts and actually a couple of weeks now. So let's check this thing out and see how this works.
It's time to get up, Junior.
So, you're a space cop.
No, I'm just being trained.
All right, new lesson. Take the ring. You fly.
Just fly.
I'm sorry. Fly, please. What's that?
You're the backup quarterback.
For now. What do you think is going on?
It's no accident we're here. These victims are going to end up being alien.
Based on what?
I have a feeling.
He has a feeling.
I think this is more than just a feeling.
This is a threat no one's ever seen before.
What do you know about manhunters?
Where'd you hear that word?
Manhunters are the most dangerous beings to ever exist in the galaxy. It could take the form of any species.
So it could be anyone.
He's going to send an army to put you down.
Do you resent Hal Jordan?
The ring's always been mine. Jordan's just keeping it warm.
Sinestro.
You don't really believe he's your backup, do you, Hal?
No.
Let's say what he actually is.
My replacement. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. How about a beer?
That looks great.
Did
Space
you
Cops,
watch-
baby. Space
That's what I'm
Cops.
saying. We're getting Space Cops. James Gunn himself has always described this as being basically True Detective in the DC universe.
I fucking love that. Sinestro looks great. I didn't realize we were getting both Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Yes, we have three
Which-
Green Lanterns in this.
I fucking love that because I know everyone's a Hal Jordan stan, but my first Lantern was Jon Stewart because I was only into Batman as a kid, not DC. And so my first Green Lantern was from the cartoon
A lot
that
of people
they had.
share that though.
So I loved Jon Stewart is kind of my Green Lantern, so I'm so happy to see him here.
No, and you're not the only one. Jon Stewart's been a pretty popular Green Lantern since the Justice League Unlimited and everything came out. So no, you're definitely not alone with it. And I think the smart choice was you bring them both in.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
mean, make them partners. One's new, one's 5 days for retirement or whatever, and you got
Kind of like
fucking
lethal
in space.
weapon. You got lethal weapon in the DC universe too. Hal Jordan's too old for this shit right now.
Hal Jordan's too old for this shit.
I'm just saying, that's how I'm saying. I love the Space Cop thing here, and dude, we get Manhunters mentioned in this.
I know, that's another thing. Like, please give me Martian Manhunter, because this, it's funny because in Marvel, I don't give a shit about the space stuff, really, except for like the super gods, right? In the DC, I'm like, yes, space cops, Martian Manhunter, give me all the fucking weird gleep glops.
Yeah, and you like mentioned Sinestro here. I love the back and forth with Hal and Jon Stewart here too. This looks sick. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad it's like a little less than a month away. We'll be covering this. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, DCU is getting moving, and they're doing their TV and movie stuff. We got Lanterns, and then 2 months then. Well, by the time Lanterns ends, Lanterns will end in September. So then, like, you get a couple of weeks off, and then we'll get Clayface. And then,
Cool.
we're building. They had Supergirl before.
Is this the same Clayface we got in Creature Commandos?
Yep, that's been confirmed.
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, which is smart because he did say most of the animated is supposed to be, involved in this. I mean, My Adventures with Superman, which is what we'll talk about in a minute, that's not considered canon with this, but it is a multiverse. Like takes place in another thing. So technically,
absolutely,
if they wanted to mine it, they could. But it's not the exact same Superman that's in the DCU, the main Superman that's there. So, yeah, this trailer, and again, I think this trailer is better than the previous one just because it does lean more into the comic book thing. Because some people are like, oh, we get a Green Lantern suit, we get more stuff at the ring. Like, this is letting you know a little bit more, dude, we're not pretending this isn't Green Lantern like it is. But we get more Green Lantern shit, so. And we also get, obviously, by Darkest Nay, Darkest and all of that, so. It's cool. And again, you have to go with a different pitch from the Ryan Reynolds version of it, because that's the one that the general public sees it as.
Yep. And I think this is a good way to do it. Like, I love we've talked about this tons of times. I love the idea when superhero movies become superhero plus genre movies.
Mm-hmm.
And this clearly is where he's going, right? We got the cop superhero, the body horror superhero, your superhero, right? We got that with with Superman. So, I everything I have seen, like it or not, and I've liked all of it, but I know some people don't like all of it. But like it or not, I think everything we've seen shows James Gunn is really trying something new, and I think both of these things coming out, I'm very excited for Lanterns and Clayface.
Absolutely. All right, so we get on with our regular stuff.
we still got shows to talk about. Holy shit!
We still have shows to talk about. That was just nuts. Yeah, we covered a lot, but we got a lot on our plate this week.
All right.
Jason, My Adventures of Superman, episodes 6 and 7. A spoiler warning across the bottom because episode 7 just dropped on HBO Max today. So we did that. Just quickly, episode 6, I thought was okay. I didn't love episode 6, but what it was going for, I did kind of dig. Like, it was basically setting up Clark Kent, Kal-El dealing with himself not being Superman anymore, but we kind of get Jimmy again with the date again with another bad girl and stuff like that, and we get the crew getting to do their thing without Superman. And it was cool. It wasn't my favorite episode, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a silly episode. I think the highlights of the episode for me was, Clark sells himself short. Clark fucking disarms an armed guy, takes a bullet in the shoulder, tourniquets it himself, and saves some kids. And by the end of this episode, he's like, I didn't do anything. I can't be. I'm not Superman. I'm like, shut up, you idiot. You fucking saved those kids. You took a bullet.
Yeah, I didn't take a double take. I'm like, did Clark Kent just take a bullet straight to the arm and just wrapped it up himself? Are you fucking nuts?
And you have that crazy shot where he picks his glasses up and it's smeared with blood. You're like, what just happened? So I thought that was pretty awesome. I like that. I like the Jimmy Kara stuff. I like that. Kara.
Yeah,
kinda
that was a
like,
good resolution, at least, or
yeah,
mostly resolution. Yeah,
that was really good. I did like the line of Jimmy being like, this is my last contractual obligated time with Worm. So it's like, okay, there's a reason he keeps going to a company, a dating service that apparently only puts you with people who want to turn you into animals.
yeah, basically. And they did make light of it in the episode.
They did. And so like his date turns everyone into animals. He becomes a turtle. She gets turned into an animal. He admits his feelings to Kara. And then they're all swept off into the Mixoplex universe. And that's pretty much that episode, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just a pretty short episode, and it does tie into. I'm actually really glad that it worked out. We did cover these 2 episodes together because I do feel like it literally goes right into the next episode here. It's episode 7. One thing I did wonder about episode 6, though, was the Queen or Princess of Markovia. Is this supposed? It's not the same literal person, but is this supposed to be a multiverse version? Because she becomes a Dr. Poison in the episode here. That's the same Queen or Princess from Markovia that we did get in Creature Commandos? Just doing something totally different.
You're right. I guess it must be like a multiverse one.
Yeah,
I didn't even clock that, but yeah, good point.
Yeah,
good catch.
That was there. It was interesting to make her Dr. Poison, and she goes off as a cat at the end of the episode or whatever. But and there's the Vicky Vale, Lois Lane rivalry that we got here, which I thought was actually kind of fun too. But yeah, it is mostly kind of like a goofy episode, but there's some serious underlining stuff, surrounding around Clark Kent though, and his whole finding out who he is without being Superman.
Yeah, and I think both of these episodes are silly on their face. But I think the underlying thing is these episodes are Clark Kent realizing he actually can live as Clark Kent.
Agreed.
And I think
that's the big takeaway.
Yes, and I think I liked episode 6 as much as I did only because I watched 6 and 7 back to back, and it was kind of this arc. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of 6, he's down on himself. At the end of 7, it's mirrored where he's like, no, I can do this. Yeah. And so watching them back to back, I think it helped me.
I did too. I did. When I texted you, I was literally in the middle of the 2 episodes before I hit play on episode 7 because I admittedly watched 6 when I was like dead tired the other day, and I fell asleep for most of it. Not because it was boring. It was just like I was dead, and I'm like, I have to rewatch it. But I'm glad I did though, because there was a lot I apparently missed. So that was definitely essential for me. So yeah, episode 7 is Mixie's back, and he's in.
Guess who's back? Mixie's back. Yeah, the plot's weird. I mean, Mixoplex is getting a divorce from his wife, but really they're role playing on a date. And my God, I was uncomfortable at the time. How many times that little imp said role playing?
Yes,
with the connotation of what he was saying.
Thank you. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
No, but honey, we're role playing. Stop saying role playing, you fucking cartoon imp. But they set it up as they've each taken a team of multiversal Superman people. There's our team, which is Clark, Jimmy, Kara, and Lois. Clark, of course, does not have superpowers. The other team does not have a Superman because that comes from a world where Clark lost his powers and was killed. Mm-hmm. And it's Lois, who is a military. She's become like her dad. Kara, who has gone back to being more like the Scion. Good Lex Luthor, I think they call him, and he actually probably is the most good of them all.
It's true, actually. Yes.
And Jimmy Flamebird, who becomes a superhero because he has a cool suit. And they're given these challenges to do, which they keep doing. And as it keeps going on, Clark realizes, wait a minute, none of this adds up. And it's Clark who figures out that they're fucking lying to them. It doesn't matter who gets the keys. They just can't get the keys themselves. They're trying to unlock the Forge to redesign the universe. And there's a great moment where Clark is like, you know what? I've dealt with him before. We can't trust him. And Lex Luthor goes, right. Like an intergalactic god would want to deal with a reporter. And he goes...
And he goes, so the hair, Lois does the hair, yeah.
And he goes, what? Am I the only one who didn't know? And everyone else on his team goes, well, yeah, clearly.
That was a great moment. That was probably my favorite moment of the episode, to be honest.
That was a moment of the episode. And then it's followed up with, well, a great character moment. Well, I regret not listening to Superman when I could have. I won't make that mistake again twice. We're not competing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting episode, and there was a lot of the stuff when they were in the tunnels and they were freezing and they had to kind of like find themselves and everything like that. I thought that was also pretty cool. Like you said, the goofy episode, but the underlining thing is actually pretty serious. You know, with Lois and Jimmy and everything, and Clark. And
the fact that like Jimmy's whole arc this season is being too afraid to be in a relationship with Supergirl. That's what all this comes down to. Yeah. And he is the one ultimately who breaks the spell there by saying, I need to change. We need to change. Because Kara is about to just accept that she's the Scion. There's nothing she can do to change it. And him saying that makes her go, oh, wait, no, that's the point. And so I think that's cool. Like his character journey of self-reflection inspires her to figure out and how to get them out of there. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah. By the way, when you were just recapping that they were about changing and stuff, it made me think of like the end of Rocky IV. I can change. You can change. Everybody can change. You remember when Rocky stopped the Cold War?
I remember. Rocky is the sole reason the Cold War ended.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously. That's how we teach it in my school in history. So it is in the history books.
But at the end of this episode, we get another Superboy coming back, and shit looks like it's about to hit the fan again with the Future.
Yes, which I think I'm very excited to see. Is that Lois with Superboy, or is that
I don't know actually?
Yeah, I'm
not really sure.
If someone was with Superboy.
It was quick. Yeah.
Something I don't want to gloss over, but we might if I don't say it now.
No,
also, we get Bizarro, who is officially Bizarro because in my with the captions, that's what he's labeled as. So he is being labeled as Bizarro.
Son of a bitch! I was actually wondering if that's what they were going for. Actually wasn't adding for. No, it's fine. But it's an interesting take on
Bizarro,
but
so they are going for a version of Bizarro there. But I don't think it's the one. That's what I was going to say. I don't think it's the one that we normally get. I think this isn't Bizarro Superman. This is a Kryptonian from Superman's genes or something like that, right?
Yes.
And you see at the end, he kind of does help. I think this was 6. We jumped to 7, but in 6, he actually does help Kara and the gang. So I'm interested to see where they go with him too, and what's going to happen with that. I didn't want to gloss that over because that looks like it's going to be important.
No, I actually slipped my mind a little bit. Yeah, because when there's no Superman in episode 6 and the city's falling apart, she needs some help, and now Bizarro is the one who goes in and saves the day and stuff like that. But I do like the fact that this show is taking different takes on Superman things that we've seen through all Superman mediums recently, and it's given it to us in a fresh way, which is cool because even remember we said last week the title Death of Superman, it wasn't Doomsday coming down and killing them. It's Superman per se is not around now. It's just Clark Kent. So he's dealing with not being a Superman. I mean, we all know he will be Superman again at some point. But it was an interesting way to approach it, though, which is what's cool.
No, I'm digging this show. I think there's only been 1 or 2 episodes the entire series that I was like, it was all right, but I didn't hate any of them. I'm digging this show a lot, and I'm liking. I'm with you. I like these different alternate takes on it because I don't need slavish comic book adaptations because at some point we're just going to have the same fucking story being told over and over, and I don't want that. No one wants that. So yeah, spice it up, give it some flavor. I mean, it's not like this is the canon. It's not like it's the 616 of the DCU,
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. All right, wow. It's kind of how I envisioned it to be. We are actually. All right, well, let's jump over to Marvel then after some DC action here, and we will have Marvel going for our last two segments here. X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 6, which, Jason, there's some big shit coming down the pipe here. This was an excellent episode, again, for X-Men 97. But, man, there's some also heartfelt stuff that revolves around. I mean, the two standouts in this episode are Charles Xavier and Polaris. And it's revolving around the death of Magneto at the end of, it was episode 4, because last week was the, mini Logan story and that we got to follow through with here. But this episode opens up with Charles in the Danger Room constantly reliving the death of Magneto it's supposed to be a therapeutic session, but this can't be great.
No, this cannot be therapeutic because he's just reliving his best friend's death over and over and over again. And then like at one point he's like, Magnus, I wish it would have been me because you would have found a way to save us both.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was sad. That line was really sad.
Their relationship is one of my favorite relationships in the entire Marvel universe. It always has been. Mm-hmm. Kudos to X-Men 97 to really going hard into no. Magneto's not a bad guy anymore because he was in the 90s, but that was starting to change just in the 90s.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we're getting this relationship though. Yeah, no, and then by the end of it, like he just keeps reliving the moment. And by the end of it, he has to call off the Danger Room because the Danger Room is with Apocalypse smash his fucking head in like he's the ant that Apocalypse says there is no bravery or honor in smashing.
Yeah, and the Danger Room starts taking it to a crazy level where he's like, hey, this is supposed to be a therapy session. And it starts taking things a little bit to the extreme here. And like you said, he has to call it off. We jump over to Polaris, who she's working with X-Factor. She stops the Purifiers from getting a weapon shipment on a freighter, but apparently it goes too far because they're basically trying to kill her, and she's had this shit. And also, you got the public who seems to be, and she starts getting a lot of shit because of being Magneto's daughter, who she didn't really even know him, but they're like, hey, we're all scared that you're going to go ahead and turn heel, essentially, because you're Magneto's daughter and you have his exact power set.
And I love the line, they're calling you the next Magneto. Well, we share the same powers. I mean, what a great name. Like, yeah, I love how she dismisses it. I'm going to say this. Polaris is is a character that I have no comic book knowledge of. I know who she is. I think she was in X Factor a lot, which I didn't read a lot of. I did not know that she was Magneto's kid up until this episode. I want to know more about Polaris. I was really, this character has really made me interested to read more about her, get more in a story, because I love the whole thing about her living in her father's shadow. Her father, who was known as a great villain, who has just become known as a good man. She comes to Xavier, who's mourning her father, and she has a moment like, I don't know him. He chose to go do other things than to raise me. And I love Charles, like, I knew him. He was a good man. And I don't know. That felt very real to me. That didn't feel like two comic book characters talking. That felt like a daughter and an uncle having a fucking argument because one of them loves the father and the other doesn't, and they're both right and they're both wrong. And that is, I think that was my favorite scene of the whole episode.
Yeah, and also though in that scene, she also mentions that while she didn't really know him and everything, but she also says that Charles raised her, because they do mention she was part of the X-Men, and they show a picture of her with the original X-Men, and she still has her room at the X-Mansion because she gets fired from X-Factor and has this argument with Havoc on the way out the door, and is basically like, fuck it, there is a place where students, mutants can go now you haven't heard, they're back up, and it was the Xavier's School for the Gifted is back up and running, and she goes back there and she goes home, and that's when you mentioned they have that great conversation there. Jean and Beast and Cyclops welcome her back and stuff like that. So I think that was
Beast gives like I don't even remember the quote, but Beast gives a really obscure quote, and she knows who it is and calls him out like, well, that's obscure. Like I know, like I buy her relationship with the X-Men.
Sure.
Like her homecoming felt so real emotionally.
Yeah, and Jubilee, don't forget, Jubilee called her out for being one of the X-Men previously in a couple episodes ago, when she kind of seemed like she had lost her way working for the government and all of that. So Polaris and Bishop are tasked with leveling up the Danger Room, because the Danger Room is like Bishop hasn't really worked with it a lot and stuff, and Polaris they have these younger kids who they're bringing on here, and Polaris and Bishop team up, but the Danger Room starts taking Charles's words and twisting them into kind of like deadly and really lethal levels, where it pushes Polaris to lose control, and it absorbs some energy from Polaris. And it knows Lorna that because she previously worked in the Danger Room and was one of the X-Men, which is part of the key part of this. And it ends up forming a body and calls Danger.
Yeah, and they did say that the Danger Room was hooked up to a Cerebro program, so it was able to look at their minds, because at one point they're in Bishop's future that he comes from, and he's like, oh shit, we're in the future. And then it turns on her and it starts fucking with her about the Magneto stuff. So it knows exactly their weaknesses because it can read their mind, which I thought was super interesting.
Yeah, and Bishop has that great line in that scene too, where he's like, listen, my Danger Room's the streets, man. And Polaris answers back like, that's great. One-liners, still going in here. You still got some clips to drop in. I thought that was cool. But, dude, it forms this murder bot, which also is a great line from Bishop, where he's just like, it's always a fucking murder bot. Like, well, why do we have to do this? Like, with the future and everything. And the Danger Room forms its own physical body and goes to Genosha and seeks out and also steals the Blackbird to get there, by the way. And they leave the mansion, goes to Genosha, and has it out with Charles, Beast, Cyclops, and Jean, who are there. And it's also trying to mentally fuck with Charles again about, where one of the greatest failings were of Magneto and stuff like that. And Polaris joins the fight later on. And there was a whole, knock him out, drag him out thing where Charles and Polaris kind of team up, and they're like, we don't have the power to stop Danger. Like, what are we going to do? And he says, well, whatever part of me is left, whatever's left of Magneto is me, I'm going to pair it with you so you can kind of basically level up to take down Danger here. Now, though, in the comics, there is something when there's a combination of Charles Xavier and Magneto's minds that kind of force together that forms something else that I don't think there's any. This is what's happening. And by your reaction, I think you just had the light bulb go off.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, you're right. Shit, I didn't, because we're talking Onslaught, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
We're talking Onslaught.
So I know of Onslaught. I didn't read it, so it didn't. As I was watching it, it didn't ring any bells. But you're right. This is what they're setting up.
Yes, they're definitely setting up Onslaught here, and this is why that's why Charles probed, because even in the recap before this episode, they flash back to when Charles went into Magnus's mind previously, and that's why part of that's there. So that's where they're definitely going with Onslaught. Without question.
Of course. Yeah, now it makes sense. I wish it was me. You would have saved us both. So he's going to push himself to be more like Magnus. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's exciting.
Which is awesome, too, because when X-Men 97 opened, it was Charles wanted Magnus to be more like Charles. And now it's getting flipped on its head.
Yeah. Oh, man. What good writing. What's funny is, we forget, especially watching these new seasons now, that this was a Saturday morning cartoon, right? Like, this was for children. and it was better than it had any right to be.
Mm-hmm.
But these new seasons have like elevated it to such a like because it's not for children anymore, clearly. But
yeah,
I think they do an amazing job with it. I'm so glad they brought it back.
Yeah, me too. And if we're all being honest, they have taken it to the next level. Because when we went and rewatched it, the first 4 seasons are good. Season 5 is horrendous, but the first 4 seasons were really good. But this is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I think I've said this before, but why I love Batman the animated series and why I loved X-Men was because it felt like I was reading the episodic comics, like, oh, that's cool. Okay, great. This feels like I'm reading a long form. Like if you gave me the Onslaught thing, or if you gave me Age of Apocalypse, whatever, in whatever way you needed to edit it to make it fit this medium, I'd be completely happy because this feels like I am reading a long form X-Men. And that's what next level. 100%.
So you noticed though during the Genosha stuff, the suits and everything that the team was wearing were very much like the 2000s X-Men during that run that was there. They had kind of like the big leather jackets and the big coats. And at the end of this, basically Charles takes the X-Men concept overseas and away from the jurisdiction of X-Factor because they've been outlawed in the United States, takes them overseas and forms X-Corp, who is basically like their whole thing, and Nightcrawler shows up in Rogue, and basically they're taking the X-Men over there and taking kind of like it. They're getting bigger with this whole thing. That's there. They have this like whole like tall building and stuff, and has X-Corp on it. But they're also like, hey, we need to still focus on the threat at hand for the moment, and so we have Onslaught in the mix. But for Charles, it's Apocalypse, because we haven't forgotten Apocalypse strolled off and killed my fucking best friend, and that's that. We need to get after him. And X Factor obviously is like, hey, you're not gonna. If you think you can just go ahead and leave our jurisdiction and do your X-Men thing, you're in for another thing. So I'm sure we're also going to get an X Factor versus X-Men thing.
I'm sure.
Coming up shortly.
Legally speaking, if the X-Men don't operate in the United States soil,
I agree.
If they like Magneto owned Genosha, right? That was his island.
Yes.
So then, if Professor X has taken it over and it is now his island, then technically Genosha is a sovereign nation, and so there's not much they can do as long as the X-Men don't do X-Men shit on United States soil.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember though with Genosha. Yeah, I do think that Genosha is fine. Yeah, with that. So you're right. I don't know. I am curious.
The whole point was that it was his own country. It was a country for mutants, right?
Correct.
For FUBU, for us, by us.
Get some X-Men T-shirts out there and start locking on to everything. So the last scene in this episode though was something we talked about last week, where we get a shot in Athens.
You called it.
Yes, I did.
Because this was your theory. So take your fucking victory lap, my friend.
Yes, thank you. Apocalypse revives Gambit as one of his fucking horsemen. And that's the last shot is of a smirking Gambit with his red eyes and actually looks like a horseman of Apocalypse. So, boy, episode 7, we better get that right away. That has to go right into that.
And it's funny because he's standing over him like, okay, this was my train of thought, right? I mean, I figured out what was going on pretty quickly, but second to second, here's my train of thought. Oh, all right, he's got someone. He's definitely making them into a horseman. Magneto? No, there was nothing left. Wait, Ed was right. It's fucking Gambit. And then you saw the cards turn into tarot cards. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking sick. Because my guess is we're gonna get the X-Men. We're gonna get the Apocalypse battle next week. And I think the cliffhanger of this season is going to be Onslaught.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that how they defeat Apocalypse is Onslaught.
With Onslaught.
Like
I agree.
It's like, all right, we're going to get rid of a big bad, but we're going to create an even bigger bad.
Agreed, and I think you're 100% right. I'm with you on that, and it's also because how much they were stressing that they didn't stop Apocalypse. They never stopped Apocalypse. I think it's going to harken back to that, where they're going to need. That's how they're going to do it. Technically, Magnus and Charles are going to do it together.
Yes,
but not the way they envisioned.
Man, such good. This show is so good.
It really is, man. I fucking love X-Men 97, man. Like,
yeah, I do too. Like, I was, you know, I always question when you bring something back. Is it going to be as good? Is it going to be a cash grab? This was better. This blew, like, at this point, it blew my expectations out that I had.
Absolutely.
2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I can't wait for that Wednesday night. I mean, well, it drops Wednesday in general. I don't think it drops at night. So
okay,
at some point Wednesday, I think I'll be jumping into this right away because
is it our last episode for the series or the season?
No, I think there's 8. So that's what I'm saying. My guess is next week will be the battle. Or
next week's Apocalypse. Then okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, all right. So we have our movie of the week,
quote unquote movie.
Yes. So, as again, we thought it'd be fun to, since we covered all the theatrical Spider-Man adventures back when No Way Home came out, we decided, hey, let's dig into the 70s Spider-Man TV movies because that's the only ones we got left leading up to Brand New Day. That took us last week. We covered Spider-Man in 1977, and now we get Spider-Man Strikes Back, which was the second film in this whole thing. Starring Nicholas Hammond as Peter Parker and Spider-Man here. So, what'd you think?
It was better than Spider-Man: A New Hope. I thought the stakes were higher. Here's my problem, though. Here's my biggest problem with this whole fucking 70s Spider-Man endeavor that we're going through here, man. Because I don't know if I've shared. I must have. If you have me talking for almost 300 episodes, I've shared this 100 times. I love old fucking TV. I love 70s TV. All right,
you sure do.
I watch Columbo. I watch Barney Miller. I fucking love that shit, right? Love it. I watch James Bond, 60s, 70s James Bond, my favorite stuff, right? I bring all of this up because this movie has the sensibilities of a fucking Columbo episode, which is great when it's Columbo shambling around going, I'm sorry, one more thing, but boring as fuck when you have Hammond riding around. L.A., by the way, why would we stay in New York in our Spider-Man? Because we shoot in L.A. The one thing I will say about the villain, and this is why I brought up the James Bond, this guy is a fucking perfect Bond villain.
Yes.
He is a garbage Spider-Man villain.
100%. And apparently he literally says at one point, Mr. White it is, or whatever, he says he likes girls in bikinis. And that's why he has Gail Hoffman dressing one. For no reason at all.
He literally fucking pulls a Blofeld move there. Blofeld does that in Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, this was I agree. And also to hearken us to a Bond era, this was an international adventure, Jason.
Yes, it was.
Switzerland, New York, LA, Miami. All 3 of the 4 in the States. But either way.
Which is, when I think of the Spider-Man, my favorite Spider-Man comics I read as a kid, it's the ones where he goes to Switzerland or Miami or LA to stop terrorists from stealing plutonium. My favorite Spider-Man. I mean, the classics. I mean, didn't Todd McFarlane do that one?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, when it was called Torment, which is the original McFarlane run in that series. That was the Torment was running around international waters, stopping fellow students from building a nuclear bomb.
What the fuck? What was that class What was that class? They're all sitting there in the fucking college science class, and the professor is just talking about how they have just telling everyone, hey, we just got plutonium. And Peter's like, you can't have plutonium. Oh, yeah, that's the future, you fucking idiot. I mean, what was that? What is this class? Stupidity 101?
Where was his relationship with Doc Emmett Brown less than a decade later? Maybe he would have stole it from these guys.
Oh, God, that would have been a better movie. Marty, we gotta go back in time and steal the plutonium from Spider-Man Strikes Back.
So, listen, before I want to go through my notes here because, man, there is a lot of weird shit in this movie. But I will say I agree with you, though, Jason. I did find this, in the end, I found it more entertaining than the first one. It's still terrible. But it was more entertaining, and I give them credit for a couple of things. They swung bigger. The stakes are much higher. They were trying that.
I thought they swung bigger. That's all you did there.
They swung. No, they definitely did. Or did they? Because Spider-Man swings from one building to another, and I swear to you, Jason, it's the same shot from the first movie.
I'm sure it is. My favorite shot is when he's falling to his death, and instead of shooting out webs, he just shoots out a net to catch him.
Yeah, why not? That's what happens. So Spider-Man in the beginning of the movie saves another jumper, apparently. That's his first thing that we see him do, which he did in the last movie. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
This is what this Spider-Man just saves people from jumping out windows or off things. Apparently on a regular basis. Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah. Friendly neighborhood.
Then we get the introduction of the love interest, Gail Hoffman, who, Jason, there's the way that the characters talk about her and the way she's introduced in this, man, this is so 70s. And I'm not going to be one of these guys of like, I'm not going to like talk massive shit, but it is wild to look back and like, boy, was this chick sexualized to like no end in this entire thing.
Look, America pre-2000 was a cesspool of misogyny. It still is, but now we're a bit more covert about it, so we pretend it's not there. But like, yeah, when you because again, when you watch as much 70s TV as I do, I didn't even clock that. It's like, oh, that of course they cleaned it up. I've heard worse on fucking Columbo, not Columbo. Columbo's a fucking saint. But I've heard worse on 70s things because you're right. It's like she is just a fucking physical body to be looked at.
But I tell you though, she works Peter to start off with though. She is trying to like use her assets to get close to Peter as immediately, and her boss tells her to basically do so because sends her from Miami to New York to get an interview with Spider-Man. That's how she gets involved in this whole thing.
You go, you find that college kid, and you fuck him if you have to. You suck his dick, but you make sure you meet Spider-Man.
Make sure you see Spider-Man at some point. Did you clock the different spider sense, the way that they portray it, when his eyes start glowing and he like sees
sees the future of the film, but in a red and blue tint. I've completely fucking clocked that because I was I didn't know spider sense was it's like Spaceballs, except in 3D glasses.
Exactly. It was so weird. It was so fucking
Borrows dailies. Oh, I got it. I know what to do. Terrible.
And then there's the scene where the plutonium. So Peter's in a class where they see like the idea of building a nuclear bomb with plutonium is a bad thing. It's not something they should do. But then some of the students decide to take this and build it just to show how easy it is to build it. And Peter gets wind of this, and Jason, Spider-Man shows up and is pacing on the rooftop while this robbery is going on for like a half an hour. I don't know what the hell he was doing up there.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what these kids are doing. What the fuck kind of plan is that? We're going to steal plutonium from our school and build a bomb just to prove a point. That's called fucking terrorism, you dipshits. It doesn't matter why you build the bomb. It matters that
built the bomb.
The bomb. And then one of them gets fucking radiation poisoned because, oh, wait, you mean not just any dipshit 18-year-old with a fucking who sits in a science class can build a fucking uridium bomb? Oh, no. Oh, who saw that coming?
So weird.
But here's the bigger question, Ed. We have plutonium. We have radiation poison. We even have a Dr. Banner name drop because it is his office they steal this shit from, right?
No.
Why don't we have a fucking supervillain? Why is the plan terrorism? Why doesn't that plutonium turn someone into a fucking lizard or a goblin or some other fucking shit in a rubber suit? Why? Why is it just the old guy who dates fucking Dorothy in The Golden Girls? That is who the villain is. He's like the guy that she winds up marrying in the future or dates him for a long time. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Why is his whole plan just terrorism and extortion? He's the fucking extortionist too.
I don't know. I have nothing for you.
A lizard. It doesn't have to be Kurt Connors. Just a fucking. It's 1978. Give me a guy in a fucking Barney suit for Christ's sake.
It's rough. It's pretty.
Sorry. I've been holding that in since Thursday when I watched the movie. Feel better now. Thank you. It's like a therapy session.
So the cops go in and they see Spider-Man leaving the scene, and of course they think Spider-Man stole the plutonium, and because you saw that one coming from a mile away. And then there's this Mr. White that gets involved in this. He wants the plutonium, and he sends people, his henchmen, after Peter Parker because Peter Parker knows Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has the plutonium for some wacky reason. And there's this chase that ensues, and they jump in. Gale and Peter jump in a cab because they were working together now. And Jason, in this scene where Gale goes ahead, and they're like, "We can't go to your apartment. We can't hide there because they'll know who you are." Good point. You can come stay at my room. And the cab driver's like, he's into it. He's like, ooh, Peter's going to bang Gale. It's so weird.
Can old Rusty join? Hey, old Rusty don't want to join. He just wants to watch. Hell, I'll sit outside your room and listen.
It was so bizarre. And then when the cops show up the next day and they see Gale there, and then Peter's getting dressed, he feels the need to explain how he slept on the couch.
Why? Like, why? Who gives a shit? You're two single, young, attractive people. Go fuck each other. Who cares? But what I thought, the funniest thing I found, though, is we get the cop, the wannabe J. Jonah Jameson cop, who's not in it for a lot.
No, he's actually in a lot less than this one.
Thankfully. They get this other guy who's like from the FBI, I guess, looking at the plutonium. Yeah. But I love how it's like everyone just kind of knows Spider-Man and Peter Parker are the same and no one says it because it's like, yeah, well, I think Spider-Man took it. Yeah, but the only kid in the entire world who could do anything with plutonium, they're not the same person, but let's go look for Peter Parker then. Like, what? Why is he even a suspect? Because he goes to the school and he's smart?
That's it.
Maybe
and because he has technology.
So what? Talk to the professor who's telling his fucking kids they've just gotten fucking secret plutonium. What do you leave Peter Parker alone?
Yeah, that's kind of who I would be looking at. I'd be looking at the teacher, but of course no one looks at the teacher because movie has to happen.
Movie has to happen.
Exactly. That's the only reason. I did notice there's less hunched over lurking by Spider-Man in this one. He's a little bit more at least straight up, and also, the wall crawling is a lot better in this.
Agreed.
Yeah, I thought so. We still do get that shot of at this point in the film, we get him swinging from one building to the next, and it's a short swing, and they totally reuse that. But we also get a spider tracer thrown onto a car,
which I'm going to compliment that. That was stupid as shit. It literally was just a fucking spider.
Yes.
But you gave me a Spider-Man thing. I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
You see how easy that is, 1978 Spider-Man Strikes Back.
And I agree. That's all I wanted to see too. But this is around the time where Spider-Man gets thrown off the building, and he's falling to his death, and he makes a nice little net for him to land in.
The net. It's a good thing. I mean, it's a good. He doesn't shoot webs. He shoots nets.
Yeah, it's just and ropes sometimes. Apparently, that we've seen a bunch.
So bizarre.
So then Peter sees that there's plate. Spider-Man sees there's fake plates on this car, and they see that it's tracked down to who the owner is, and they go to his house, and they find out this is how it takes them to L.A. And Peter and Gale need to get to L.A., so they have J. Jonah Jameson pay for this, and he goes with them to L.A. on their adventure.
I kind of thought that was fucking hysterical, honestly. Like, because he fires Peter, and then he rehires Peter, and Peter somehow, because he's Peter Parker, and he's the only one who could track down plutonium, and everyone believes this, he convinces J. Jonah Jameson to send him, to rehire him and send him to LA to look for plutonium. And J. Jonah Jameson, and I actually do, as much as I like the actor from last time, I think this is a much better J. Jonah Jameson actor.
Yeah.
Because you're actually getting some Peter, you know.
Yeah, I agree. But their relationship is a bit more accurate.
Yeah, I agree. So I appreciated that. I love that they go, and it's like, I'm not trusting you with my fucking expense account, Parker. And then like they're all flying together, and he even says like Peter jokes with Gale like, at least he's not making us all share a room. I expected it to smash cut to them sharing a room. But you do get that really funny scene where they have to like grab some bikes and go after some guys in LA for the spider tracker, and Peter Parker just kind of steals one, and Gale just kind of steals one. They go, "Oh, our dad's coming," and J. Jonah James is like, "Their father." All right, give me one of these, and like he just kind of pays for it all, and he gets into it. I think that for me was a great scene.
It was pretty funny. I also noticed that when Gale was laying out by the pool, that J. Jonah Jameson's laying out next to her in a full suit. Which I thought was very bizarre. That was just a weird detail that was there.
But very J. Jonah Jameson. I thought it was like the JJ stuff. I thought was super fun.
Yeah, and also they tracked down this Mr. White's business, and apparently is an importer-exporter.
Oh shit! Do you think it's Art Vandelay?
Jason. Listen, this would be kudos to this movie if his name is Art Vandelay or anything like that. You're trying to decide between the importing or the exporting.
Exporting, it's very hard.
Yes.
I want to see this guy now run out from the bathroom with his pants down and his ankles going, Vandelay Industries, Vandelay Industries.
So listen, this wouldn't be a 70s Spider-Man movie if he didn't fight random martial arts dudes. And he fights a guy with nunchucks.
What was with the martial? Like, there was a martial arts craze in the 70s, right? Like, clearly.
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
Like, why was everyone fighting fucking martial artists and kung fu guys and ninjas?
He pulls out
and
nunchucks.
White ninjas.
He's fighting them. Yes,
we're not even seeing
Asian
ninjas. We see fucking white ninjas. I don't want to see white ninjas. At least get me some Bruce Lee or someone.
Yeah, that would have been. Well, he may have been doing Green Hornet or something at the time.
All right, I mean, what I'm saying, or someone. Get me some.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Norris.
Someone who is Asian and does karate and can actually do it really well. Because these white guys suck, man. I'm sorry. They're just big, and I don't know.
No,
I didn't like it.
It's pretty lame, man. We see a fight there, and Spider-Man fights two people, and one of them is a bigger guy who he's somehow struggling with because they did establish in the first part of this series that he should have this like superpower and be so much stronger and everything like that. Like, I don't know. He should have probably just tossed this dude and that would have been it. But I guess again, movie has to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're fighting in this like it looks like a set in LA of a Western or some shit like that.
Yeah, which is what we saw in the opening.
Yes.
They're like on the set of fucking High Noon, and he's using his. Anyway, you explain it, man. It was bizarre.
It is weird. But that's really it. That's all there is. They're fighting in this weird set, and then like that fight kind of wraps up and they get away, and J. Jonah J. like Peter plays it off where he comes back by the time JJ gets there and his like little buggy type thing he's got going on, and they play it off. And Gail throughout this movie, and this is another scene where she is like on to Peter being Spider-Man. She's piecing it together.
Well, he also, I want to point out that 20 minutes into this movie, he gives to Gail, he gives a monologue that I titled in my head, the "How do you admit you're Spider-Man without saying you're Spider-Man" monologue, where he's just like, well, I don't know. I mean, if I were Spider-Man, I mean, it wouldn't be easy. You wouldn't get to date. You wouldn't get to tell people. And wouldn't it suck? Wouldn't it suck losing your fucking job all the time and J. Jonah Jameson trying to take pictures of yourself, man? I just want to be in college. I mean, I'm not Spider-Man. Like, I'm exaggerating, but he gives a speech that is totally like that. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because I watched Spider-Man Noir, but Gail needs to throw herself out of a fucking window to prove that he's Spider-Man to her.
Yeah, because she's definitely onto it at that point. She's not that stupid, even though by the end of it, I'm like, she has to believe this shit. There's no way she's buying it. She's a fucking reporter.
Look, if she's a reporter and didn't get that he's Spider-Man from that monologue, then she needs to find a different profession.
Well, also in that monologue, though, he basically gives the "with great power comes great responsibility" thing without saying the words.
Yes, that's right.
Which I thought was also hilarious. I'm like, we're skating around this again. Okay. But then Gail gets captured and kidnapped. She gets kidnapped, and that's when...
It's what you do as a woman in the 70s. You get kidnapped.
Yeah. She gets kidnapped and gets put into a bikini, and she even asked the question that I had. Why is she in a bikini out of nowhere? And Mr. White at least says, number one, I like women in bikinis, because he has two of them around him at all times throughout this movie.
And
as soon as he answers the question,
I'm going to out myself here. If I were a supervillain and I were kidnapping women willy-nilly, I don't know if I'd put them in bikinis, but there would definitely be a dress code, because I like to see people in a dress code. Not even just for women, actually. You know what? Men too. Sometimes bunny outfits, men as well. Sometimes all fucking black suits, women as well. Okay. There'd be a uniform. It would depend on my mood. But I get it. If I were a supervillain, I just think going, I like women in bikinis. Like, all right, you like to fuck. You and every other human being on the planet. Come on. Set yourself out as a fucking James Bond villain.
Well, he also follows it up with saying, oh, I also want to make sure they're not hiding anything or weapons or anything.
Which,
like that.
But
still.
You have a whole bunch of guards. You don't need to go to that.
Yes, you got the big guy who wrestled Spider-Man like about 5 minutes ago. So him and the henchmen do have their big fight, and the fight ends where Spider-Man throws the big henchman into a pool, and that ends it. But then all of a sudden he's webbed up in this like little net, and it cuts to Gail, and she's just smiling.
Yeah, that's weird.
But then, Jason, we get the big ending where Spider-Man sees, because remember, throughout this whole thing, Mr. White gets his hands on this atomic bomb, and he's going to set it off in LA because the president is there, and there's this whole threat that's there, and that's why this is going down. And apparently he's in this helicopter, and Spider-Man needs to get into a helicopter. He hitches a ride, and explaining he's going to do some sort of like Daredevil stunt. Catches a ride, but only can go to a certain point because obviously the president's in town and he'll get his license revoked and all this other crap. He jumps out of the helicopter and is gliding forever. Just gliding before he webs up onto the Mr. White's helicopter and is hanging off of that. And we get a lot of first-person angles throughout this entire thing.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to push back here. Gliding, yeah, that's what it should have been, because we both know Spider-Man doesn't fly, but fucking Spider-Man was flying, Ed. Let's call a spade a spade. He wasn't gliding. It's not even like it was like, okay, because I've seen Spider-Man do this. All right, I'm gonna web my
webs. Yeah, with the webs under the arms. Absolutely, yeah.
No, he didn't do that. He was like,
yes, he was
like he was Superman. So no, he was flying.
He was like the what was it, Greatest American Hero or whatever, and he was like the thing. So he latches onto this thing, happens to get off in time, where he finds the atomic bomb, dismantles it, and then saves the day. Spider-Man versus the atomic bomb is over. But then Mr. White is like, we'll get him next time, or something like that. You're muted.
Sorry. I'll be back.
Yeah, it was very much like that. Yeah, he's like, yeah, we'll get him next time or whatever. And that's essentially kind of where this thing wraps up. And like Peter and Gail, I think they kind of seemed like they maybe finally hook up at the ending or something. I don't know. It seemed like they were very. It was finally like the do they don't they seemed like it was over at the end of this.
Yeah. I guess we'll see in the Return of the Spider-Man next episode if it sticks.
Spider-Man The Dragon's Challenge from 1981. That's the next one.
Is that really the next one?
Oh, yes, it is.
Why are we fighting all these fucking ninjas? Give me a goddamn supervillain.
I don't know, Jason. I actually meant to look into this, but I don't know why we're fighting martial arts guys besides just the time.
I mean, that's it. That is it.
So that is that. I mean, we have one more to go, though.
All right, then.
Dude, we have to finish it at this point. But we have Spider-Man Brand New Day next week, though.
We do. All right, so we get a little break.
Spider-Man will be fighting ninjas in Spider-Man Brand New Day, though. He's fighting the hand at one point.
Yes, but it'll be the fucking hand. It'll be a purpose. There'll be Hell's Kitchen people. Daredevil, I'm sure, will be there. Bernthal will be there. This is just... You know who else will be fighting? He'll be fighting fucking supervillains.
The Hulk. Tombstone. Boomerang. Tarantula.
Boomerang, that's awesome. I'm not mad at the inclusion of the martial arts. I'm mad at the exclusion of the fucking supervillains. And I'm saying if you have a choice between supervillains and martial arts, it's fucking supervillains every time. If you could do both, do both.
Which seems like Spider-Man Brand New Day is doing.
They're giving us a brand new day.
Yeah. All right, well, that does do it for us then this week. We covered a lot, and I don't think the runtime was too bad. I mean, we covered a lot in
we did.
Yeah, we did. I think we kept it going.
We got through all our content in an hour.
It's true. That is true.
Yeah.
So not for San Diego Comic-Con, we did a different spin on it, but I thought it was cool. Right.
It's fun.
All right, so again, that does it for us then this week. Thank you as always. If you check this out on Facebook, check out our Brainies PhD Facebook group where we share trailers and stories and other stuff that doesn't quite make the show. Check out Pop Culture Pros and popculturepros.com because that's who we are presented by. On YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros and wherever you found your audio-only podcast. Jason, we will have a new movie next week.
We will.
We got Spider-Man Brand New Day dropping on Thursday, which we'll be seeing. So
very excited.
We got that. Super hyped for that. We'll have another episode of X-Men 97. And depending on the day, might have Superman or not. Depends on when we can work this out. We'll figure that out though. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline though. So stay with us. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later.
Like women in bikini.